Welcome back once again. Thanks for joining us here this morning, Sunday morning. US Indy Car League action presented to you by StickQuik.com. We're across the pond in Monza at this great historical track, and these US IndyCar drivers gonna try their hands at a road course in a mighty fine one at that. Qualifying already underway, 10-minute qualifying session this time for the US Indy Car League to allow these drivers a few shots at putting down a fast lap here at Monza. Have a few drivers out there on track. We'll jump out there, keep an eye on this 99 of Ben Wallace as he makes his way around, I believe that is Curva Grande right there. No, actually coming through Parabolica back to the front stretch. The US Indy Car League presented by StickQuik. Jumping over to the other side the pond, but leaving some of the more technical chicanes that maybe these Indy cars are not quite equipped to pulling off. Taking some of the chicanes out of the course here today for the US Indy Car League. So look for a lot of drivers to do a lot of big things here at Monza. With a little late jump and a little different qualifying, having to restructure, reformat some of the way we are doing things here this morning on a great Sunday morning. Want to give a shout out to some very special people in my life. Mother's Day here today, so big shout out to my mom. Love you very much. Without you, I wouldn't be here, obviously. We're not going to get too much further into that, but happy Mother's Day, Mom. Love you. To my mother-in-law, you're one of the greatest women I have ever met in my entire life. From the bottom of my heart, love you. Assunta, absolutely love you. And to my wife, mother of my two beautiful warrior princesses, you know, without her, most of this would not be possible. She's the backbone of our family. Maybe the breadwinner, but she is the backbone. So shout out to not just the mothers in my life, but to all the mothers in everybody's life. Happy Mother's Day to all of you out there watching here on Turn 3 Racing Network today. Hopefully we can give you something to watch while you get things ready to go and go out, see, picnic, do whatever it is that you got planned here for Mother's Day. And just be safe, be careful while you're doing it. You know, everything's still going on in the world, but we continue to try to be as normal as we possibly can. Right now, Ben Wallace being as normal as he can. He sits on top of the speed charts for the provisional pole right now. 5 minutes, about 5.5 minutes remaining here in open qualifying. Looks like Tim Keen coming off of pit road, gonna try his shot here at a fast lap. Gonna be a long out lap for Keen, riding in his number 4 Willen Engineering sponsored Dallara IR18. So that is a heck of a car. I really like it. Nice and clean, simple but sexy, if I'm allowed to say that. We'll have to wait and see how YouTube does it and how the FCC rates that one. But that is a well, just flat out sexy, simplistic looking paint scheme out there for the Willen Engineering driver Tim Keen. Looks like we've got about 9 drivers with some timed laps in, sitting on top of your provisional pole. The 99 of Ben Wallace as we ride above the head of Tim Keen. Now back to the racetrack there. Second on the speed charts, Tim Keen. Third is Craig Forsyth. Fourth is Barnhart. Fifth, Victor Roca. Sixth, Robert Mitchell. Seventh, Howard Livingston. Eighth, Rick Lovison. Ninth, Richard Kelball. 10th, David Zaleski. Couple other drivers not turning in a timed lap as of yet. The 004 of Jason Lowe. Inigo Mardones in the 666 not making a timed lap just yet, nor has the 306 of Will Stearns. Gonna jump back to another driver here. We are watching Barnhart as he makes his way around this 3.55 mile track here in Italy. The Autodromo Nazionale Monza. This is one of my favorite tracks, not only on the iRacing simulator, but also in real life. Absolutely love this place, and I am going to get there before my days are done. That is definitely on my bucket list. Craig Forsyth in the 131 snatching away the provisional pole as they stand right now. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief commercial break. Let's step away for some track information, and then we will step trackside for the playing of the host nation's national anthem. And since we are in Italy, it will be the Italian national anthem. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We will be right back here live from Monza for the US Indy Car League, presented by StickQuik.
The Autodromo in the National Park of Monza. This circuit, a permanent track, the oldest on the Grand Prix calendar, built in 1922 with both a bank configuration and that road course layout. Lots of history, lots of passion. Too much to go into in this very short video, but enough to say that at Monza, if you love motor racing, you must be there. Turn 1, or the Lesmos, or indeed the Parabolica. Let's have a look at the circuit now in terms of elevation. Feels completely flat when you're there. Surprising to see that there are changes in elevation during the lap, but that doesn't count for anything. The real substance of the Monza lap, long straight still, and chicanes, and then there's the Parabolica and the Ascari S's as well. So let's have a look at turn 1, one of the great places to watch Formula One cars in my view, partly because it's an extended chicane. There's quite a lot of room to do something with the car there, and the rotation of the car mid-corner between turns 1 and 2, really critical, but relatively easy to see the drivers one different from another. Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, as ever, very, very good at this particular point of the circuit. They accelerate now out of turn 2 into turn 3, the Curva Grande. Not really a corner anymore, it is the straightaway, but of course that chicane was not always there, turns 1 and 2, and at that point Curva Grande was a really, really quick right-hander. Out of turn 3, heading towards the second chicane, the braking area into turn 4-5, an obvious overtaking place. We do see passing there, but for me the really enjoyable part of 4-5 is the exit, because there's a big curb on exit there, and you can be really quick even if you've got the car slightly sideways if you let the car accelerate at the angle at which it hits the curb. If you see drivers trying to straighten the car on the curb, you know they are losing a bit of time there. Coming out of 4-5 into the 2 Lesmos, these corners are much slower than they used, but the exit of turn 7 is still a demanding part of the racetrack, and very important to keep the car on the left-hand side of the road as you're accelerating out of 7 and not move it across to the right too quickly. Now we approach one of the most famous parts of the circuit, the Ascari chicane, named after Alberto Ascari, who sadly lost his life coming out of this section in 1955 when he was testing a car for the first time since a few weeks before putting the Lancia Ferrari in the harbour at Monte Carlo. Again, the critical part here is the exit coming out of turn 10. Make sure the car stays absolutely in a dead straight line as you're accelerating, and don't fall into the temptation of moving the car across to the left too soon for the Parabolica. Approaching the Parabolica, which is turn 11, thoughts turn inevitably, if you're watching, to Taffy von Trips, who lost his life there in '61, and then Jochen Rindt, who had an accident breaking into the Parabolica in 1970. The Parabolica is, as it looks on the map, it's got a decreasing radius, tight going in, and then the corner opens out. An interesting corner, and if you're lucky enough, you can get to stand on the marshal's post as they're coming in. I did that once in the 70s and early 80s, and you could see the heat building up on the left rear as the drivers just turned into the Parabolica as the heat went across the tread of the tyre. Phenomenal to watch. And then the long straight, the historic straight. The grandstands are new on the left. There's still part of the old pits on the right, the cobblestone pits where they used to push the cars from there into the pit lane. It is part of the Paddock Club now, the sort of back end of the Paddock Club now. But if you can go there, you can still see a few of those cobblestones. And if you stand on the track there on a Thursday afternoon as the others are leaving the circuit, you can still smell years and years of motor racing history. Monza, nothing like it. Can't wait.
And thanks for staying with us here on Turn 3 Racing Network, qualifying in the books field. A little bit, they're a little bit before the Ascara chicane here. Gonna have a rolling start, something unique here at Monza for these US IndyCar League drivers. They're gonna have a rolling start instead of a standing start. With that being said, we will work through your starting lineup here today for the Monza Grand Prix. Starting pole position inside row number 1, the 131 of Craig Forsyth. Just to his outside, the 4 machine of Tim Keen. Row number 2 here today, the 99 of Ben Wallace, followed by the 45 of Victor Roca. Row number 3, the 37 of Barnhart and the 004 of Jason Lowe. Row number 4, the 24 of Richard Kelball and the 31 of Robert Mitchell. Row number 5 here today, the 13 of Howard Livingston and the 666 of Inigo Mardones. Row number 6, the 64 of Rick Lovison, followed by the 07 of David Zaleski. Rounding out the field here today, the 306 of Will Stearns Field, making their way into Parabolica, and will get set to fire this thing off for the first time live here from Monza. Across the pond, gonna get the job done. US IndyCar League presented by StickQuik. How quick can Forsyth be here on this restart, or will that wheeling? Well, there it is. Green flag out here at Monza, and we are off. Craig Forsyth gets a great jump on the field. Bryn Wallace and Tim King now side by side, snaking their way through and around this first chicane down into the front stretch into Curva Grande, high above the 131 as Ben Wallace looks to the inside. Wallace to the inside. Oh my goodness, coming right at you. That wheeling engineering machine of Tim Keen, able to get by Craig Forsyth in the 131. Victor Roca right there in fourth, right on the heels of all these drivers. This is a 4-car battle, and you've got Barnhart right on the gearbox of Roca as well. All these drivers making their way around the track fairly easily so far out there today. Watching the 24 of Rick Kilball running in the 24 machine. Oh, trouble! Barnhart with trouble. Big save there by Kilball, and he has got No front and nose cone on that machine, so we'll back it up one time here. Take a look at it with our turn 3 replay. A little bit further back. There you go. There you see it. Oh, and just hard into that wall. Ooh. Very close for a lot of the drivers making their way around Barnhart after that little bit of a mistake. Tough break for him. That's going to put him behind the 8 ball as he takes his machine down pit road. Now Keene moves the 4 to the inside, going through the chicane. Around the little short chicane, if that's what we can call it here on Turn 3 Racing Network. You're not in the full chicane there. You do make a little left-right bend, but it's a much straighter, a much more flat-out bend, as Keene has put his Whelen Engineering Dallara IR18 to the front of the field. Here working lap number 2 at a 43. Very long race for these US Indy Car League drivers. 42 laps remaining, and we're going to drive 153 miles by the time we got this thing done and over with. And you're going to have to be on your A game for every single minute of it. Now Keene beginning to walk away from the drivers battling for the second position. Just behind them, the 99 of Wallace right there in second. But Forsyth trying to come back up, trying to retake that spot, and possibly go shake down your race leader. Just behind this three-way battle at the front, we've got a 2-car battle for 4th and 5th. Victor Roca and Jason Lowe battling it out for position. Roca has it right now. Then you got to go a little bit further back to find your next runner on the track. The 31 of Robert Mitchell sitting in the 6th position. 7th is Howard Livingston. 8th, Richard Kelball. Inigo Mardones is sitting in, well, 9th. 10th place is the 07 of David Zaleski. Rick Lovison, Will Stearns. Then Barnhart will round out your field. Barnhart already going to pit road. 7.4 seconds stop. 33.1 pit delta. Fast repair being used by Barnhart early. He's not going to have any left in the book. So it's going to be a very long Grand Prix here for Barnhart. Continuing to watch the closest battle on the track, that is between your top 3 runners as we begin lap number 4 at a 43 scheduled here today. And this battle at the front of the field, it has not went away one bit. Wallace, Keene, Forsyth. Who's gonna have what it takes to put themselves in control of this race? Oh, close! Going into this short chicane, as we'll call it one more time, and Wallace hanging it out there, getting the job done, passing that 4 of Keene. Wonder if a push to pass was utilized there to make up. Oh, and around goes Keene! Trouble for the 4. Spinning it back around, trying to get it going back in the right direction. The 31 of Robert Mitchell now right on his heels. He's going to make that pass. Losing yet another spot is Tim Keene. We'll back that up with our Turn 3 replay. Let you see what happened. There you see everything looks to be fine with Keene. Gasses it up, loses it a little bit, and around he goes. We'll take one more look at it from the cockpit here if we can. And there you see it, just a little cross up with the hands, and that's all it took. That's all she wrote. Hard contact, but that front end looked okay. Nope, Keene's going to bring his number 4 Whelen Engineering machine down pit road. That's going to put Craig Forsyth well in hand of a second place as your top 2 runners, Ben Wallace and Craig Forsyth, begin to step away from the field. Closest battle on track now for the 3rd and 4th position between Victor Roca and Jason Lowe. Robert Mitchell still right there behind these drivers, about 7 seconds behind. He's running in the 5th position. Howard Livingston now running in 6th. Jason Lowe trying to get up there, trying to get the job done, trying to make up some positions. They haven't lost sight of your race leader just yet. 4.9 seconds. Make that 5 seconds now. Behind your race leader is Jason Lowe, but still being able to see those front 2 drivers is everything. Once they kind of go out of sight, that's when you know it's going to be tough sledding from this point on out, but still a few battles all over the racetrack. You got a battle for 1st and 2nd, battle between 3rd and 4th. Go a little further back, battle for 7th and 8th. Look at there, look at there. Richard Kelball, Rick Lovison, and David Zaleski all right there grouped with each other. There you see the 64 of Rick Lovison. He's going to have the preferred line going into Curva Grande. Will he make it stick? Yes, he does. Kelball looking for a crossover, a switchback. Not going to be there. They're going to head into this short chicane. And Kelball in his StickQuik Dallara IR18 going to yield the position. Now looking high above Kelball's helmet, looking at the gearbox of Rick Lovison take off into the sunset, and he's got David Zaleski to deal with just behind him. Battle towards the front still raging on between the 1st and 2nd driver, as well as the 3rd and 4th place drivers will rejoin the front of the field up here. Drivers coming right at you. Want to give a shout out, thank you to Esteban over there with all the great camera work that he provides us here on Turn 3 Racing Network. If you haven't already, go check out some of the cameras created by Esteban. You can find them on the iRacing forums, or even easier, scroll on down in the description. Click on the link down there. There's a special code. Get a little bit of discount. We get some help, you get some help kind of deal going there. One hand washes the other. Go on over there, check out all the great cameras provided by Esteban. You can find track cams, car cams, whatever you need, whatever you want. There's something for everybody over there. Ben Wallace continuing to lead. Craig Forsyth was your pole sitter here today for the Italian Grand Prix. Not able to lead a lap just yet. Had the lead taken away from him on this long run down into Curva Grande since the chicane's not there. Now looking to the outside is Forsyth, trying to go the long way around before he can set himself up into this little short chicane. Nope, Wallace going to prevail through there as Wallace goes back around the first Lesmo here. Around the tighter second Lesmo, now going to make their way down this stretch and into the Scara chicane. This is one of my favorite parts of the course. Just a beautiful chicane here. Forsyth not there, but not going away. Gap less than 0.3 of a second. The gap back between Victor Roca and Jason Lowe, sitting right at about the 0.3 of a second as well. So all these drivers right there in your top four. There you see the two very distinct groups. Now moving to the outside goes Forsyth. Gonna have the inside preferred line, the 131. Makes the pass work. That is a beautiful looking thing right there. Craig Forsyth in his last lap. Dallara IR18 getting the job done, making the pass, but can he keep the lead back to the race line and put a point in his bag here from MONZA? We'll have to wait and see if he can hold off the fast, hard-charging Ben Wallace, and that 99 has led 6 laps out there so far here today, continuing to try to run up at the front, but now having to chase down your race leader. Wallace making a move to the outside. Can he get him at the line? Lap gonna go to Forsyth. Now Wallace with the advantage. Side by side. Drag racing back into Curva Grande. High above, on board with the 131 of Craig Forsyth. He's gonna make that pass work. Staying in the gas. Oh my goodness. Forgetting about that being not the chicane there anymore. I thought he overshot the corner. Scared myself there for a moment. Ben Wallace beginning to scoot away from Forsyth just a little bit as we work ourselves into the 10-lap mark here so far. 34 laps remaining here from MONZA for the Italian Grand Prix for the US Indy Car League, presented by StickQuik.com. If you haven't already, go on over there to StickQuik.com. For any and all of your organizing and fastening needs. They got a lot of great products, whether it's in your kitchen, your race shop, your regular shop. You just need to be able to hang a few things here and there, want to get to them easily. Got some great products out there for you to check out if you haven't already. Head on over to StickQuik.com. Battle at the front still continues to rage on. Ben Wallace not able to walk away from Forsyth just too much. Gap gets to about 3 to 4 tenths of a second, and then Forsyth continually and repeatedly reels the race leader of Ben Wallace back in. So, not sure if it's really the slipstream, if it's the push to pass going on out there, but Wallace not able to really get away from the field as well as he may like right now. First time that gap has been over the half of a second mark that time, just barely into the 6/10 of a second race lead for Wallace. Gonna look a little further through the field now, work our way. I tell you what, that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead, we'll work our way through your top 10 runners here at MONZA today as these two continue to battle at the front. Ben Wallace sitting at the top of the speed charts, on top of your leaderboard in that 99 machine. He's continuing to battle with that 131 of Craig Forsyth. Both of those drivers not giving an inch. Still hard on the gas through the Lesmos here. We'll go back a little further in the field now to your third place runner, the 004 of Jason Lowe, going a little bit wide there, and that is not what I wanted. That is the one that I wanted up there. And Jason Lowe doing a fine job, finally making his way around a newer driver here in the US Indy Car League, the 45 of Victor Roca. as he tries to make a big splash in his debut race here at the US Indy Car League. And he has done a fine job so far here at Monza, now finding himself inside the top 5, running in the 4th position. A little further back through the field, there you see the 31 of Robert Mitchell. He's got his work cut out for him and his StickQuik Dallara IR18 if he wants to go up there and battle for a podium position here today. Coming around Parabolica and back down this very long, very famous front stretch is Mitchell. Running in 6th here today, the 13 of Howard Livingston. Howard's got that 13 StickQuik machine also hooked up out there on the track. Got a lot of drivers out there sporting the StickQuik Organize Anything Dallara IR18 paint scheme. 64 of Rick Lovison will run in the 7th position. Currently has Richard Kelball. Sorry, got a little stutter problem there. Rick Lovison staying just in front of Richard Kelball right there in the 24 machine with those bright green neon rims, hunting and hounding that 64. Whoa, little bit of a moment there for Kelball. Gonna have to go 11 seconds back from this battle here to find yet another newer driver here in the US IndyCar League battling with Tim Keen. We'll wait to see how this plays out, but for now, that 666 of Inigo Mardones sitting in 9th. Scratch that. Make that 10th as Tim Keen has taken over that 9th spot. He's got his Willen Engineering Dallara IR18 headed back in the right direction. Keep in mind, Tim had a little bit of a spin there, got crossed up, had a little bit of a moment, and had to bring his machine to pit road. So he has used that fast repair to fix it on up. And we have got a ton of drivers, mass exodus of the track, and everyone on the pit lane. Ben Wallace on and off pit road. He continues to lead the race. Craig Forsyth sitting in 2nd still. But as we work that top 10, that's how it all broke down. Looks like everybody on the pit road after about 13 laps on tires. Everybody coming to pit road. And I wonder if this is where Tim Keen may find himself in a little bit of trouble as he continues around the racetrack here today. He's sitting in 5th right now, making a good recovery, but he's already got 9 laps on his tires. The drivers around him are going to be, or should be, much, much quicker once they get the tires up to temperature. But the fuel strategy has now changed. For Keen, is he going to have to try to save some fuel and gain a lap or two, or has he already... it's going to take at least 3 pit stops to get to the end for these drivers, or at least 2, I should say. They're going to have to stop at least one more time from here. If they go another 15 laps or so, that would leave them with about 14 laps remaining. So going to be very close to just making it a 2-stop race. But Keen may have some fuel strategy play out into his hands. It's a good possibility, but he's got an uphill battle on his hand right now. That is for sure. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, your race leader, Ben Wallace, has checked out. He has found a way to open up a 3.5 second gap. Over Craig Forsyth in his 1:31. And looking at the scoring charts, it looks like Craig Forsyth had the better pit delta. by almost a half a second, but somehow has lost a ton of time. Maybe on the in lap there or the out lap, not quite sure how it worked itself out, but a 3.8 second gap has been created, and Ben Wallace went into pit road with just about a 0.4 of a second lead. Very, very interesting on and off pit road little scenario there. That was yeah, all right. Wallace continues to put down some scorching fast laps. Fastest time of the race looks like goes to the 131 of Craig Forsyth, a 120.680. So fastest lap going to Forsyth as they run that time by. Wallace was 0.3 of a second faster. His 121.645 to Forsyth's 121.934. So the lap time does seem to be in favor for Forsyth. Gonna go back to our closest battle on track, and that is between Tim Keen and Victor Roca as he tries to take that fourth spot away, sitting about a half a second off of Keen, as he's still trying to gain some spots. He took that position away from Richter. Richter only 3 laps on Victor's tires here. 12 on the tires for Keen. But Keen was able to make his way by, and maybe Victor Roca just letting him go, knowing that his fight's not with him at this point in time. He's going to have to pit here very, very soon for fuel and tires. So maybe not fight him too much and burn up his own stuff. Maybe a little race strategy going on there by Roca. Real quick house cleaning here today from MONZA for the US Indy Car League, presented by StickQuik's Italian Grand Prix. 13 drivers took to the racing grid. We've still got 12 cars out on track, 12 cars on the lead lap. Scratch that, as Rick Lovison has brought his machine down pit road for some repair. He's going to fall to being the one and only car on track, 1 lap down. Will Stearns in his 306 gonna walk away with the final finishing slot here today in a 13th position. There you see Lovison on pit road behind that iconic green wall, getting some work done. Keen on the pit road for his stop. He's going to give up a few positions, now sitting in the 7th position, I should say. 9.4 second stop. So a little bit longer stop there for Keen than maybe he wanted. But back onto the racing surface with a 35 second pit delta. So that not a very bad go at it. Mirroring what Ben Wallace was able to do on and off pit road there. So good job by Tim Keen and his crew to get that Whelen in Engineering Dallara IR18 headed back in the right direction after some early trouble here today. The man at the front of the field, Ben Wallace, has continued to put some distance between himself and the man on screen, Craig Forsyth. Forsyth now sitting 4.5 seconds behind Ben Wallace, and he's got a very comfortable gap back to the 3rd place runner, Jason Lowe. Lowe sitting about 12 seconds behind Forsyth, and he's going to have to deal with Victor Roca here soon. As there you seen, as I alluded to, maybe Roca just kind of let Keen go there, knowing that Keen was going to be bringing his machine to pit road in the coming laps. So no need to waste the extra fuel and burn the tires any more than what you gotta. as we're going to switch high to above the track with one of our drone cams as we watch this close battle unfold between Jason Lowe and Jason Lowe and Victor Roca. Robert Mitchell right behind Roca, about 13 seconds actually, so a pretty good gap back to that 5th place runner. Man, up there from the blimp cam today, the cars look like ants. The people, you can hardly even see them down there. And this is just a beautiful, beautiful chance to show you what a great, just gorgeous track here at Monza. I mean, it's a wonder of the world, in my opinion. It should be on the list. But with Italian heritage and my wife's entire side of the family being directly from Naples, from Napoli, I'm a little bit biased, so I love Monza, and that's just what it is, folks. Jason Lowe continuing to try to keep Victor Roca at bay. That 45 machine doing a great job at making a great statement here in the opening race for himself. His debut race here with the US Indy Car League presented by StickQuik as we continue the Italian Grand Prix just about at the halfway point. Just a handful of laps away from our halfway point. 2 laps away, as a matter of fact, from reaching that number. Drivers are working lap 21 at a 43 scheduled here today in the Italian Grand Prix for the US Indy Car League on iRacing.com. iRacing.com, world's #1 racing simulator, all cars and tracks scanned with laser precision. Physics, dynamics of the cars are spot on, as real as it gets, unless you got a couple million or billion to blow and wadding machines up. Come on over to iRacing.com, where it's a little bit cheaper to wad up one of these very expensive machines. Trust me, I've done it. I know a lot of other drivers that have done it as well. So if you want to see if you've got what it takes to run with some of the best IndyCar drivers on iRacing.com, head on over to iRacing.com, snatch yourself up a subscription and grab some content. And maybe you can get out here and ride with the drivers in the US Indy Car League presented by StickQuik. Not much to see up at the front of the field, keeping it with the closest battle on track. Battle raging still between Jason Lowe and Victor Roca lap after lap. These two drivers have been trading blows since the start of the race. They've been right there this entire time, battling for that 3rd and 4th position this entire Grand Prix. Looking above the aero screen on board with that 004 of Jason Lowe as he continues to keep Roca at bay. We're going to take a look back here from the gearbox. Let you see just how close Roca really is to making a pass work here. There you can hear Jason Lowe going down through the gears, entering the Lesmos. My goodness, and there's the gap back to Victor Roca, now fading just a little bit. That gap's opened up to right about 0.7 of a second, now closing back in through the Scarter chicane. Running a little bit wide there, but still hot on the trail of Jason Lowe is Roca. Will he have what it takes to make his way into the top 3 by the end of today's race? Podium positions look a little something like messed up because I hit the wrong button at the wrong time, so you know how that goes. On the pit road comes Jason Lowe. Your top 3 now looking like this: Wallace, Forsyth, and Roca. Roca taking away that 3rd spot as Jason Lowe has brought his machine down pit road. We'll jump back on board here with Craig Forsyth as he has slowly closed the gap on that 99 of Ben Wallace. But I gotta ask myself, is Wallace baiting him, if you will, maybe playing a little cat and mouse, maybe stretching the fuel a little bit further? 10 laps into this run on fuel and tires for these US Indy Car League drivers. 20 laps remaining from Monza here today in the Italian Grand Prix, live on Turn 3 Racing Network. From myself, David Worrell, and everybody else back behind the scenes at Turn 3 Racing Network: Roger Muth, Chris Legue, Rick, Danny Valenzuela, the Outlaw, KR Stolfus, the Wild Child, Cody Early. Oh man, there's so many to name that I can't name them all, so if I have forgot you, I do apologize. But everybody else back at Turn 3 Racing Network making things go as smoothly as they do week in and week out. Shout out to Esteban for all the great onboard cameras as well as track cameras that he provides us here at Turn 3 Racing Network. As I said earlier, head on down in the description down there, click on the link and go check out yourself some cameras. Big shout out to all the fans, family, friends, viewers out here this morning. This beautiful Sunday morning for a great Grand Prix here at a beautiful, gorgeous track, the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, for the Italian Grand Prix on Mother's Day. So shout out to all you mothers out there. Without you, a lot of us would be lost. And yeah, I mean, there's things that you guys do for us as kids as well as when we're adults that are above and beyond what's expected and necessary, and for that we salute each and every one of you mothers out there for doing everything that you do time and time again. Looky here. Drivers. Oh! Right in front of Craig Forsyth. Inigo Mardones with some trouble right in front of one of your race leaders. We'll back it up. Take a look with our Turn 3 replay. And there you can see Forsyth right behind Mardones coming through the corner. Just slowed down a little more than I think what Forsyth thought he was going to. We'll take a look one more time here. See what happened. Oh, not getting a good view of it right there, but I believe that's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. I believe Mardones just was a little bit slower through the center right there than what Forsyth had expected, and that has put Craig in a very, very precarious situation. On pit road is Inigo Mardones trying to fix his machine. On and off pit road goes your race leader, Ben Wallace. Craig Forsyth now down and away. He's making his way off of pit road, but had closed the gap all the way to just under 2 seconds. Now he finds himself with a much larger gap to try to overcome the gap, now reaching 9/10 of a second for Ben Wallace. So he is well in control of today's Italian Grand Prix in a special paint scheme on that 99 of Ben Wallace's machine. That is a beautiful, beautiful paint scheme there, Ben. The Italian colors, the Italian flag, riding with the 99 of Ben Wallace out there today. And man, I tell you what, that is, whew, malissimo. Absolutely beautiful. Gonna work our way through the field just a little bit, let you know how things are shaking out for a few drivers out there so far. Your running order off to the left-hand side of your screen. Ben Wallace sitting at the top of the charts. Tim Keene, looky here, looky here. Tim Keene has got his machine dialed back in, and he is trying to get back up into these podium positions. He's got 10 laps on these tires, 16 laps remaining to go here in the Italian Grand Prix. He's got Craig Forsyth behind him, so Keene now sitting in the second position. Gonna have to pit at least one more time though. I believe most drivers may have to pit one more time as well. All the drivers hitting pit road 2 times so far. Gonna be iffy on if they'll have to stop for just a splash before the end of this thing or not. Either way, Tim Keene has done a beautiful job recovering his race here today. There you see just off in the background your 4th place runner, Jason Lowe, the 004, trying to run down the 131 of Craig Forsyth, the naked clown. Jason Lowe having a great race so far here today. Hasn't really left the top 5 the entire Grand Prix, so hats off to him and his crew getting the job done so far here today. There you see Lowe going around. I believe that may have been, well, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I believe that may have been David Zaleski that Jason Lowe was going by. Not gonna be 100% committed to that one, but I believe that's who that was. Big lead now for the 99 of Ben Wallace as Craig Forsyth has finally retaken that second spot away from Tim Keene. 18.9 seconds separate your leader from his competition. Craig Forsyth now sitting in second with just a 0.2 of a second race, gap. I wanted to say race lead, but gap now battle side by side with Keene. Keene's going to take that spot away. No, fighting back on the inside comes Forsyth. Drag race down the long straightaway. Who's going to have it going in to Curva Grande? Looks like Forsyth going to yield the position for now, but will he poke his nose out here going into Curva Grande? Not looking like he's gonna. Looks like he's gonna stay right there on the gearbox as these two drivers try to gap the 004 of Jason Lowe a little bit more. There you see him just off in the background. He's trying to make his way up there, But keep in mind, this 4, he's got to be pushing as hard as he can right now to try to get a little bit of gap for himself and his team to be able to get on pit road and then take this thing to the end, because some of these drivers may be struggling soon on tires when we get towards the end of this thing. And oh my, while we were watching everything going on, Victor Roca with trouble. He has found himself on pit road for an extended stay now. Tough break for the newcomer Roca. He was doing a hell of a job out there in his debut. Now finds himself behind the pit wall, beating and banging on his Dallara IR18. Tough break for that 45. Ben Wallace, your race leader, continues to stay out on track as we watched Tim Keene make his way to pit road. That's going to be the final stop for him and his crew. Looks like Robert Mitchell now hitting pit road as well. So looks like some of these drivers may not be able to make it on just the 2-stopper. Looks like it's gonna end up being a 3-stop race. 6.1 second stop there for Robert Mitchell. That is a 3.5 second faster stop than what Tim Keene and his crew was able to do in a 4-second pit delta difference. So Robert Mitchell making up 4 seconds right there on pit road on Keene. A little bit more house cleaning is necessary as we've got 12 laps remaining here today in the Italian Grand Prix for the US Indy Car League presented by StickQuik. 13 drivers took to today's race. We've still got 10 drivers here track side. 6 drivers remaining on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down is the 37 of Barnhart, followed in 8th by the 64 of Rick Lovison. The 666 of Inigo Mardones sitting in 9th. Richard Kelball sitting in the 10th position, 4 laps down. 3 drivers are unfortunately out of this race. Their day coming to a end early here from Monza. The 45 of Victor Roca, after very promising race through the halfway point. Trouble striking that 45, and he's going to stop at the 11th finishing position. 12th place, the 07 of David Zaleski and Will Stearns having trouble very early, being the first car out of the race, scored in the 13th and final spot. We continue to watch your race leader Ben Wallace wheel his Monster Energy Dallara IR18 around this very fast version of Monza. Only 9 turns in this configuration as opposed to the normal, I believe it is gonna work it through my head here one time. I believe it is a 16 turn normal here at Monza. I could be wrong, but working it through my head, that's what I believe the normal full Grand Prix track is. Nonetheless, Ben Wallace, if he can't save enough fuel with a 22-second gap to make it to the end, then I don't think anybody is going to be able to save enough fuel to make it to the end. Looks like we've got another driver with some trouble. Barnhart in his 37. He has been on pit road for the past minute, so some beating and banging going on his machine. Robert Mitchell now sitting as the last car on the lead lap, but there he is, just in front of your race leader, Ben Wallace. Craig Forsyth continues his fine drive out there today. Little bit of a close issue there on a few occasions for the 131 of Forsyth. And he has found himself with a little bit of issues, and he finds himself way back. 22.2 seconds behind your race leader, Ben Wallace. So Forsyth well in control of a second place finish here today, as first place seems like it may be slipping away without a big time incident from Wallace. Looks like your top two may have their slots already in the bag. Third place runner Jason Lowe in his 004 machine, the Naked Clown Dallara IR18, doing a fine job as well, 4.4 seconds behind Craig Forsyth. And Tim Keene, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. He has driven the wheels off of this Whelen Engineering Dallara IR18, now sitting in the 4th position after heavy contact in an early incident, forcing him off of the pit cycle, forcing him into a box, and he has made the best of it since then, now running in the 4th position. Robert Mitchell running in 5th. And he has got Howard Livingston just to his outside now, making the pass on Livingston. That's going to put Livingston back to 6th. And look, just behind them, who is lurking in the distance, your race leader, Ben Wallace, coming fast to the tail end of the lead lap cars here as we cross the line. That time by gonna be lap 36 out of 43 scheduled in today's official race distance for the Italian Grand Prix, live here from Monza. 8 laps remaining for the US Indy Car League, presented by StickQuik's Italian Grand Prix. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you all the racing action here today, as Wallace right there now trying to put Howard Livingston 1 lap down. We'll go. I tell you what, we haven't done it yet this race, so why don't we go ahead on board now with your race leader, Ben Wallace. Let's show you how he sees things out of the front of his machine. We'll rejoin the race in just a moment as we're going to go trackside and on board with your race leader, Ben Wallace. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a lap around Monza with your race leader, Ben Wallace. While we were riding on board with Wallace, the 4 of Tim Keene was able to make the pass on Jason Lowe, so put Keene back into a podium finishing position. Heck of a drive out there by Keene to make his way back up inside that top 3. There you see the cutoff for your podium positions. As Jason Lowe is falling through the field now, 4.6 seconds behind Tim Keene. So moments late in the race here for Lowe. Lowe is having a spectacular race. Was having a spectacular race out there today. No issues, nothing going on. Really nice, quiet race. And oh, Wallace, big time mishap. He's going to have to slow up after cutting the course there. And there you see just how much he has had to slow up. He's allowed Robert Mitchell to gain right there on his gearbox. Now he'll try to get the tires cleaned back off. And I wonder if it was just a matter of not wanting to lock the tires up. And absolutely right there. It is a fine line on the tires of what is too much and what is not enough and what is just right. That just right line is not very thick. Very, very thin line on where you need to be on and off the throttle and on and off the brakes and where you place the car on the apex of the corners. So the tire management for these drivers out there today has been something more than what maybe you see on an oval left-hand turning racetrack. Tires a little bit more complicated to deal with tire management having to go left and right. As Wallace hitting pit road after the lockup and going through the grass. That's going to put Wallace onto pit road, and the pit delta, it could come into play, ladies and gentlemen. Craig Forsyth coming around Parabolica. Will he hit pit road? Yes, he will. And oh my goodness, what are we going to see here? I believe Keene's going to be a little bit too far away to make the jump. But this is going to put him very, very close to Forsyth, I believe. Forsyth just now getting stopped in his pit box. Car is down. He is away. Still on pit road, trying to merge. Off of pit road he comes. And the gap gonna close up very, very quick. But with only 4 laps remaining here in the Italian Grand Prix, I'm not sure he's going to be able to close the distance. It was a hell of a shot, a great drive. I just don't think Keene's going to be able to get up there and challenge Forsyth for that second position. Gap all the way down now to just 6.5 seconds. But that is asking an awful lot out of any driver to make up over 6.5 seconds in only 4 laps. That is going to be a very, very tall task. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, your race leader crossing the line this time by gonna leave us with only 3 laps to go as we work our way around the track. Lap 41 out of the 43 laps scheduled here today, as we continue to watch your race leader, Ben Wallace, pretty much dominate today's Italian Grand Prix. 37 laps being led out there by Wallace today. Oh, and man, wouldn't you know it? Typo the entire race. That is awesome. And as expected, Tim Keen losing a little bit of ground now. That gap has increased to 7.8 seconds between himself and Craig Forsyth. So unfortunately, I don't think Tim's going to have enough left in those tires, no matter how great of a job he has been able to do keeping the tires underneath him. I just don't think he's going to have enough to get up and around Craig Forsyth here in these closing moments. Looks like most of the positions on the race surface are pretty much spoken for and locked in, as we will watch your race leader Ben Wallace work his way around the Lesmos here and down towards the Ascara chicane. Whoa, little bit of a moment once again there. Almost catching Ben Wallace out once again was the Ascara chicane. Wallace, ooh, that could have spelled some trouble. Does still have a 23-second gap between himself and his closest competition, so Wallace not having to push here, but still trying to get this thing done and over with. Coming to the line to begin the final lap here. One to go. Presented by StickQuik.com. Organizers and fasteners organize anything at StickQuik.com. Give you a couple great action shots of Ben Wallace as he continues around the track for the final time here. Live from Autodromo Nazionale Monza for the Italian Grand Prix US Indy Car League, presented by StickQuik in partnership with Jack Bumper. Heck of a job out there by all these drivers. A lot of these drivers used to turning left in these Indy cars. Today, they had to turn left and right, and that has caught a few of them out, but has made superstars out of a few of them. Ben Wallace looking like a road course ace out there today, leading 39 laps so far as he works his way down towards the final corner off of Parabolica and down the front stretch to the checkered flag. The 99 of Ben Wallace going to walk away with your race win here today. Craig Forsyth in the 131 coming around Parabolica now. He's going to have second place well in hand. A little further back behind him, watching the 4 of Tim Keen work his way on the entry of Parabolica. He's going to finish in the third and final podium position. Jason Lowe now making his way around the final corner. Little further back, Robert Mitchell going to round out your top 5 here today. And with that being said, we'll watch Ben Wallace for a brief moment on his cool down lap as we get everything ready to go and switch things on over for your post-race interviews here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Shout out to all the fans, friends, and family coming out and watching this great race here on a very special Mother's Day edition of the US Indy Car League presented by StickQuik. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We will be right back with your post-race interviews here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Autodromo Nacional Monza. We have wrapped up today's race for the US Indy Car League presented by StickQuik. It's the Italian Grand Prix, the Monza 150. Here this wonderful, beautiful Sunday morning, Mother's Day racing action for all you fans, family, friends, and viewers out there today. We've been able to catch up with your race winner. Dominating most of the race out there today was the 99 of Ben Wallace. Ben, you got a copy?
Yes, I got you. How you doing?
Doing good, my man. Not doing as well as you. Walking away with a race win here today at a very historical, very iconic racetrack. Not the full GP course, but still nonetheless a very, very beautiful, gorgeous course. And I want to give you a special shout out on that paint scheme, man. Took me a minute to notice it completely, but sporting the Italian colors out there, hey man, love it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a great circuit coming to Monza in Europe. It's fun and it's different. This version was a bit different for me, especially. But no, it was enjoyable. I think the guys at the front would have had a long battle all afternoon. I think they got caught up in a few other bits, which was good for me. But obviously, I didn't get to battle. But yeah, it was a great race, and thanks to our sponsors, StickQuik and Jack Pumper, and everyone else who's involved, all the league organizers and stuff. It's good fun.
Well, man, walking away with a great race win at a great racetrack, does it make you feel any better knowing that we're going into a little bit of a break here between our next big race at Indianapolis? How do you feel getting able to relax with a race win under your belt?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll call it a summer break or a spring break, but yeah, certainly nice going into the break on a win. Indy coming up, so we can look forward to that. We can have a few days rest and then get straight into prep for running Indy. Obviously the great race. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
All right, Ben. Well, once again, congratulations on a great race and a great race win out there today, walking away with the championship trophy and the big boy points out there today. So before we let you go, would you like to give any shout outs, thank yous, love yous, anything like that?
Yeah, just our sponsors and the league organizers, StickQuik.com and JackBumper.com. Thank you, Media 10 as well. They're all involved and support the league, and it's great to have some esports with this kind of support. We have fun and we're all race hard and have fun whilst doing it. So that's the main thing. And yeah, thank you to you up in the booth.
All right, there you have it. Some few, some few parting words from the driver walking away with the race win, sponsored by Turn 3 Racing Network here today from Monza, your race winner, Ben Wallace. Able to catch up with the driver finishing in the second position, and for some reason it doesn't want to show your car. There you go. We'll get you on the screen one way or another. Driver finishing in second here today, the 131 of Craig Forsyth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, buddy. Great race. You sat on the pole. Unfortunately, only able to lead one lap out there today. Monza can be a monster sometimes. Very beautiful track, very great racing surface. But walk us through a little of your race, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no, it's a draft track, so you definitely don't want to lose that pack. So I was just sitting back, and I mean, as soon as I knew right off the start, starting from pole is not desirable because you're by the end of the long straight, you're going to get lapped regardless, you're going to get passed no matter what. But it was nice to get the 1 lap lead just so I got the point. And then at that point, it was just try and beat the guys in the pit stops. Tim unfortunately had his spin, which took him out, and we were looking good. And then we got caught up in some lap traffic, so that gave Ben the breathing space he needed so that he could focus on the win instead of his rearview mirror.
Well, walk us through, if you will, the mindset or the mentality that you had to put yourself through in preparation for this race in particular, knowing that, we run a lot of ovals, especially over in America. That's where most of the ovals are located anyways, but turning left constantly, left, and here, left and right. Did you have to put yourself in a different mind state, or did you use the simulator anymore this week in preparing?
No, I've been busy all this week, so this is the first time I turned it on was this morning. But no, I'm a road racer normally. It's the ovals that I'm new to, so it was this is a track I know well. I'm not used to it in the non-chicane version, but it's the same thing. You got to be good in your pits. It's whether it's the ovals or the roads, you can win or lose a race in the pits, and especially it's more important on the roads because of course there's no cautions. So that once you lose the guys ahead of you, it's hard to catch back up.
Yes, it is. But you had a fine drive out there all day long. Congratulations once again, walking away with a second place finish. So before we let you go though, Craig, would you like to give any shout outs, thank yous, love yous, anything like that?
I just got to thank the guys. I mean, week in, week out, they like to put on a good show, and I hope the guys watching enjoy the product that we put on because we enjoy racing it.
All right, there you have it. Some few final words from the driver finishing in second place, sponsored by Turn 3 Racing Network today for the Italian Grand Prix. Craig Forsyth and his 131. Heck of a job out there by him all race long. Gonna take another quick look to see if we've been able to establish the connection with your third place finisher here today, Tim Keene. and not looking like Tim's going to be able to get mic'd up here today. So, with that being said, we'll throw his very fast, very simple, very clean looking machine, that Willen Engineering, Lucas Oil, Dallara IR18. Fine drive out there today by Keen. Got a little bit behind the 8 ball after an early spin, but found a way to drive his way back up through the field and make up a good amount of time to put himself into that third and final podium position. So hats off to that number 4 of Tim Keen. He has, that was probably one of the best drives I have seen in a while here at Monza. So big hats off to Keen and his Willen Engineering team, walking away with the third place, sponsored by Turn 3 Racing Network here for the Italian Grand Prix US Indy Car League, presented by StickQuik. And well, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. You know what it is. You know it's about that time. Not much left for us to do here trackside in Monza, except give you what you want. And that is your points in your running order. Your points coming into today's race looked a little something like this. Unfortunately, not able to get to them pre-race. We'll bring them to you now, though. Robert Mitchell was sitting on top of the point standings, had Ben Wallace right behind him, Jonathan Barnhart in third, David Zaleski was fourth, fifth, Craig Forsyth, and Howard Livingston, Rick Levison all tied up right there, knotted for the 5th, 6th, and 7th positions. Coming in to today's race. That's what the points look like coming in to today's race, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what they're going to look like when we head to the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 250 for the US Indy Car League, presented by StickQuik. That will be May 27th. I believe. Anyways, your finishing order for today's Italian Grand Prix. The 99 of Ben Wallace walking away with the race win, finishing in second here today. The 131 of Craig Forsyth. Finishing in third was the 4 machine of Tim Keen. Fourth place goes to the 004 of Jason Lowe. Fifth place, the 31 of Robert Mitchell. Sixth place, the 13 of Howard Livingston, while Rick Levison found his 64 machine, finishing in the 7th spot. 8th position here today, the 666 of Inigo Mardones. 9th place goes to the 37 of Jonathan Barnhart. 10th, the 24 of Richard Kelball. Finishing 11th today, the 45 of Victor Roca. Finishing 12th, the 07 of David Zaleski. Rounding out the field for today's Italian Grand Prix in the 13th position, the 306 of Will Stearns. And that will do it, ladies and gentlemen, for your running order and for the race, and well, for us here today for the Monza 150, the Italian Grand Prix for the US Indy Car League, presented by StickQuik. From myself, David Worrell, and everybody else back here at Turn 3 Racing Network, we do appreciate each and every time you join in. All the fans, all the friends, all the family, all the viewers. We appreciate every time you stop by. If you hadn't already, go ahead and give these drivers a thumbs up. Click subscribe. Smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And, well, that's it. That's all we got. Until next time. We'll see you then. Stay safe. Kiss the ones you love. And most importantly, happy Mother's Day, Mom. Love you.